Boom shakalaka, what is going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love, and yes, we have the live stream you guys are all waiting for. This is the mining live stream with real, actual live miners. These guys work down in the coal mines, mining Bitcoin and other things. We got JP, we got Sean, we got Oleg. What's up, everybody?
Hey, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so we're going to get started. We're going to answer a whole bunch of questions that people have. Guys, if you have any questions during the live stream, make sure to post them in the chat because we are going to try and answer all your questions about mining, how it affects the price, how to get started in mining, all types of things like that. To begin with, I guess if you guys could just start and tell us how you got into cryptocurrency, how you got into mining, why you chose mining as opposed to other things. So I guess JP, Oleg, Sean, that order, go for it.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is JP Latour. I've been investing in crypto since 2013, and I've been mining since 2014. So basically, since ASICs sort of first came out. If anybody on the stream remembers the Cointerra units, I had some of those very early on, back when things were rapidly changing and becoming obsolete every 3 months. But yeah, I mean, I started mining a very small operation basically as a hobbyist. I was running a I was running a hosting business at the time, and I had some data center space. I was living in San Diego, and just put some rigs inside some of the cabinet space that I had in the data center, and started mining that way. And mined all the way up until end of 2015. Got out of it for a bit in 2016, and then early 2017 started getting interested in it again and got caught up with what had happened. All the new hardware that come out and all the new developments and new machines and new coins and stuff like that. And then last year, I built out a small GPU farm, and then got into more institutional level mining. Started a company called Vulcan Mines, myself and two other co-founders. Raised some outside capital and decided to come up here to Montana, which is where I'm at right now. We built out a mining farm up here. We have a 3.2 megawatt mining facility, and we run that mostly as a co-location hosting facility for other miners. And then we have a mining operation ourselves within that facility. And since then, I've branched out and started doing consulting for other miners and working on all sorts of new and exciting projects and opportunities. So that's kind of my backstory.
Awesome. Thanks, JP. How about you, Oleg?
So early 2017, I had a client come to me from a different profession, asked me to build him a mine. I had no idea what mining was, no idea what Bitcoin was. Took on the task, built out a 3.8 megawatt facility in Houston. In a couple of months, say 4 months, we built it out. It was in a tier 3 data center. So that's how I really got into mining. I think I bought my first Bitcoin after I started mining. I think I didn't even know what the market was until I started mining. Plugged in the first S9, so it's making $38 a day. I'm like, damn, I'm in the wrong business. And I started doing industrial mining ever since then. And I dropped everything else behind. Right now, I'm also consulting on several facilities. Also the chairman of the board and a co-founder of the Blockchain and Crypto Mining Association.
Awesome. Sean.
Well, I started trading crypto back in college. It's about 2014. And then I had a drop off, just kind of got busy with other work. And then 2017, got back into it pretty heavily for trading. Felt my life being sucked away by constant terrors in the night that I was going to lose all my money. So I switched over to, we figured out it was cheaper to mine than it was to buy. And so a couple of friends and I from college, we built out a facility in northern Alabama. We have a 2.5 megawatt facility up here, but not up here, down here. And so we just run it. We host, but we're working on taking it private right now completely for all the machinery. So that's my story. And I also work at IBM as a blockchain and Watson consultant currently. I do some, emerging markets technologies, and just that's what I do.
Cool.
All day.
Cool. So you all, pretty much all of you got into mining right off the bat. And I think a lot of the people who watch my channel kind of got into the more of the investing side off the bat. Like, why did you choose mining? Or why would someone choose mining, and how does really someone get started in mining?
All right, so I didn't have a choice to choose mining; it chose me. And now after started mining, I did do a lot of investments, traded a lot. I don't know where my coins are at this point in time with everything that's going on with ICOs.
Mm-hmm.
I think mining is really the infrastructure; it's the backbone of the blockchain. You're creating something tangible. If you build out the proper mining facility, which nowadays is unfortunately industrial, it's gonna be cheaper to mine than to make Bitcoin. That's the way I see it. It's something that for me, it's a much safer play than a lot of the investments, especially with what's going on now in today's market. Getting into mining, honestly, it's sad to say, but a lot of algorithms now are being mined by ASICs. ASICs are very difficult to get into. It's industrial. You can't really go and plug 10 ASICs in at home. You can, but then you won't be able to live in that house, honestly. So your only real option now, if you want to just play around at home, is GPUs. I have one right here, just something to play around with. Find new blockchains, things that you can't mine with ASICs, and start piling up coins that way.
Gotcha. Now that's a pretty quiet unit behind you, because I don't really hear any background noise. Yeah.
1080s, they're pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I same idea. I mean, if you're a hobbyist miner, I mean, I run 4 rigs out of my house just for fun, and I mine random coins. And I was mining Ravencoin for about 5 months, and we got listed on Binance, and I'm a happy sucker right now.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Because I was mining at a loss just for fun, just to see if anything would pop off. So, and Ravencoin, since it's backed by the core developers of Bitcoin, was kind of like a fun little project to mine. So,
yeah.
And it got listed on the the biggest exchange in the world. So, happy me.
Oh yeah, man, you must be stoked. And some say with Ravencoin, the best is yet to come. Some say.
I think it's not the core developers aren't trying to reinvent Bitcoin or reinvent. They're trying to add whole nother layer of asset class and everything on top of it. So they weren't trying to take away from what Bitcoin was.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to take Bitcoin and make something completely separate, but build upon what they already did. So it's a pretty cool protocol that they got going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So actually, one of the questions was about not Ravencoin, but Pigeon Coin. So and I think this goes into something that we mentioned earlier. How do you choose what coins to mine? Do you just kind of pick randomly? Are there algorithms? What do you do?
It's profit driven,
yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's fewer. I assume we're talking about GPU mining for the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because with an ASIC, obviously, application specific integrated circuit, you have an algorithm that ASIC is dedicated to. Like in the case of ATC, it's SHA-256. You can also mine Bitcoin Cash with it. But yeah, with a GPU, you've got more flexibility. But as more ASIC development, as ASIC development has branched out, and now there's ASICs for all different types of algorithms, I think the profitability of a lot of the coins that you could GPU mine with, let's say a year ago, that's really shrunk. And it continues to kind of expand and contract as new projects come out and stuff like that. But in terms of looking at kind of the core top 50 mineable altcoins out there, I think that proportion is shrunk because the ASIC manufacturers look at the block reward, and if the block reward is sufficient to warrant development and production of an ASIC for that particular algorithm, they're going to go out and they're going to do that, zero question about it. And so we've seen more and more ASIC chips coming out and more ASIC miners coming out targeting different algorithms. So it's happened with Ethereum, it's happened with Zcash, it's happened with a bunch of other algorithms. And so that really limits your options as a GPU miner. And we've seen GPU mining, I think, struggle in the last 6 to 9 months as kind of a result of that. You have a shrinking pool of coins that are effectively GPU mineable now. And the ones that are GPU mineable, you've seen more and more hash rate getting pointed at those coins. So that impacts difficulty, and that makes it more competitive and stuff like that.
In being that way, do you think that potentially the ASICs resistant coins are going to be more of the hobbyist type coin, whereas the ASICs coins are going to be more industrial? Is that something that you guys see?
Not only ASIC resistant, but new blockchains that come out. But yes, in general.
Mm-hmm.
So when a new blockchain comes out, I mean, most likely it's only going to be able to mine on a GPU. How do you choose which coin to mine? Profitability, and trying to jump on when nobody else is mining. So that happens once in a while. We're running 1,800 1080 cards in our facility in Texas up until recently. And there's some mistakes we made, and I'll just throw one of them at you. For example, when you're running that many cards and when you're chasing profitability, there's other factors to consider, which is, great, I could go mine, 100,000 Aeon coins, but doesn't mean I can sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean the volume's there on the market. So those are other things that you really consider, and you kind of, learn as you go. So yeah, we were mining coins, various type of coins, and we were making like $10 per day per card, but we couldn't sell them. And by the time you could sell them, they're worthless, or they're close to worthless, or they're making 10 cents per day per card. So those are kind of things you got to balance and figure out for yourself. And if you really believe in a coin, mine it and hold it long term for a couple of years, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So I guess let's get into the big question that a lot of people want to know: is $6,000 a solid bottom for Bitcoin? Because Tom Lee from Fundstrat, who loves to, I see you all laughing. I know we were talking about this at the conference. So for those of you who don't know, we just kind of ran into each other by chance at a conference down in Miami, but it was pretty cool because I got to ask them a bunch of questions I've been curious about, you all have been curious about, so we get to the answers for those today. So like Tom Lee from Fundstrat, he quotes this time and time again, how the average price of mining a Bitcoin is $6,000 now. Next year it'll be $8,000, $9,000. And people take that to assume that the price of Bitcoin can't really fall through that. So is the actual mining cost of a Bitcoin the bottom? Is that the lowest it'll sell for?
In my opinion, yes. For any long period of time. I mean, if the cost of production exceeds the spot price, you have to have some liquidity as a miner, because at some point, you have to be able to sell those coins to pay for expenses in fiat, unfortunately, power and labor. Although maybe you've got people on your payroll that will accept BTC, but you probably nominalize that against some sort of exchange rate, right? But yeah, I mean, look, you have hard expenses, you have fixed costs, right? And so you need to be able to cover those costs. That's not to say that people won't continue to mine for a short period of time, running in the red. But if you have any length of time that's significant where the marginal cost of mining exceeds the value of the coin, then I think the network falls apart. So I think it does act as a price floor. There's no question about that in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And just to clear that up, I mean, 6,000, with a really good facility built out with, minimal operating expenses, 6,000 isn't in the red. You're still in the black, and you could be, 30, 40% in the black. But then there's other things to consider, primarily reinvestment of miners, for example. Miners have a certain lifespan, and then you have to buy new ones, and you have to save up for them. When you take all that into consideration, then, 6,000, maybe 5,500 is pretty close to a floor at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that there's two different topics here. One is the marginal cost of production, which is just, can I run these mining units that we already have? And does revenue exceed expenses? That's kind of, I think, the price floor. But then there's a bigger question about, is mining profitable in general? Because you have to pay off the facility, you have to pay off the mining equipment that you buy. And I think that that's more where that paper by Fundstrat was kind of getting into that bigger topic of what's the actual blended cost of production, long run, making some assumptions.
Mm-hmm. Is something that just came to mind, is a mining facility, is that something that people will usually pay for up front, or is that something that kind of people will take out business loans to make?
Just like any other business, some people pay for it up front. Some people purchase it as real estate and take a mortgage out on it. It's honestly just like any other business, build out, apartment complex, data center, and so on.
Cool.
It might be a little bit harder to get a loan on the racks and the PDUs when you're telling them you're going to do mining, though.
Right. Gotcha. What do you think, Sean? You think that? Sorry, I muted you for a second. There was just a child going crazy in the background. So.
Yeah, I'm in a pretty active spot. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on power costs at this point. And if you have a well-run facility, like Oleg said, if you're paying over 6 cents now, you're losing money at this point, just because the hash rates increase so dramatically, and it's just a race to the bottom of price. Who can get the cheapest and best power and the most all in one spot? I mean, we all struggle with that on a daily basis. So, but I mean, that's our life, is chasing power. Where can we get the cheapest power right now if you're an industrial scale miner? So,
so what happens when the price goes, like if the price goes below the cost to mine? Like let's say it costs on average $6,000 to mine a Bitcoin, and the price drops below $6,000. What do you guys do?
I don't think there's anything magical about $6,000. I mean, as we were talking during the pre-show, one thing that might be cool at some point during this stream is to just pull up a mining calculator and just play with it a little bit.
Let's do it. Can we do it?
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds here.
Sure thing.
So I don't know that. Yeah, I got it. Here we go. Can you guys see this?
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, so we can see that I just made some assumptions. The most popular model of miner out there right now is Bitmain. You have to go with Bitmain's S9, the Antminer S9.
Is this a website anyone can use?
Yeah, 100%. So the website is mycryptobuddy.com. There's a bunch of mining profit calculators out there. I prefer this one just because it allows you to play with more variables, like recurring costs. What happens if we make assumptions around the appreciation of Bitcoin, for example? Like how much does price change or decrease over month, difficulty changes over time and stuff like that. And then also selling profiles. So you can have these strategies around, okay, do you want to sell coins monthly, sell to cover expenses, sell a portion monthly, never sell coins, etc. And then it's got this live stats feature. So you'll actually see these numbers basically change because it adjusts based on network difficulty and price and hash rate and stuff like that. Cool. So I can turn those off so it's not a distraction. But yeah, I recommend this one. There's plenty of other ones out there as well. And then they make these mining calculators for all sorts of coins.
So what would someone put in there in order to figure out which coin to mine?
So, I mean, I just plugged in a value, the hash rate for an Antminer S9. There's a couple different submodels of the S9, but the most popular one is, I'd say, the 14 terahash one. There's a lot of them out there. So if we look at this and we say, okay, the average pool fee is like, let's say 3%. We have no rejects on our shares to the pool. We can see that, right around 9.1 or 9.2 cents per kilowatt hour is our break-even price monthly. That's where our mining revenue is equal to our electricity costs. And then if you have other costs associated with running your facility, you can kind of make those assumptions down here. So right now, it's 9.2 cents. But that being said, like none of us on this show have costs that high for electricity. We're all running significantly under that. So that's why I don't know about that 6,000 mark. 6,000 is probably more the price to long run ROI, not the marginal cost of production price. Okay.
So what, how much does it cost you guys to make a Bitcoin on average? If you want to disclose that.
I mean, I ran the calculations for us. It runs us about $5,200. So, I mean, we have relatively cheap power, and then we have a relatively cheap facility that's pretty well built. So we didn't have too much of an overhead put into it. JP, I think you're somewhat similar on the facility build out cost.
Yeah. What was your number?
Like 5,200
per what? Oh, for the
bit.
Marginal cost of production.
Yeah.
I haven't actually calculated that, so I really don't know, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. If you start adding in, like if I start paying myself and stuff like that, it starts going up a lot more. It's like 5,500 or something like that. But I usually never pay myself for my mine right now. So.
All right. So here's a question for you guys. Let's say for all of you guys, on average, it costs $5,200 to mine a Bitcoin. let's say the price of Bitcoin goes down to $5,000 and stays there for like 6 months or a year. What are you going to do?
Cry? No.
I think everybody would be crying if it went down and stayed there for that long.
I mean, I've been mining Litecoin at a loss for probably 4 or 5 months now, and the hash rate has decreased because you have a significant level of people dropping off for mining. There's probably half the miners working on the Litecoin network now than there was back in March. And so I'm getting almost a 3 times more return on mining than I was back in March, just because of the hash rate drop from back in March. So, I mean, for us who have extra capital laying around, you have big, deep pockets, you can reach back into your reserves. I would mine at a loss until I started having issues in the cash bank side.
Mm-hmm. So, like most people, when the price of Bitcoin or whatever goes down below the price to mine it, miners drop off, but those who stick around get larger rewards, potentially could see larger benefits in the future from sticking through and mining it during that period.
The way the network should work. I was just going to say,
cash resort, yes. I mean, it's all about the cash reserve. If you have a 20 megawatt facility and your monthly expenses are $300,000-$400,000 a month.
Wait, before you go, so you keep throwing around like 20 megawatt facility. Pretend that I don't know a thing about that. What is that?
Very large facility. Let's say
3.5. That's 12,000 machines.
Yeah. Where your electricity bill, I'm just kind of randomly guessing, could be easily in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. So, for industrial mining, it's how big is your cash reserve? Do you have a 1-year cash reserve? Because if you have no cash reserve and you're like $200-$300 a month and you have that cash reserve, hopefully, then it's something that, I would definitely stay in for the long run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think all of us got into mining because we've all got a thesis and a belief in crypto, right? And so if you're looking at mining just in terms of like how much money can I make as quickly as possible, I would just say that mining is probably not for you. There's probably other opportunities that are going to pay off faster, especially in today's market. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to get back to is like, Randall, you asked, okay, what's your shut off point, or what happens if price goes below production? Mm-hmm. What should happen is that on the network, the hash rate should go down. The global hash rate for like, let's say Bitcoin should go down. And then once difficulty resets, the difficulty should adjust downwards. And so what that means is there's less machines on the network. And so with one block being worth 12.5 Bitcoin right now, being mined on average every 10 minutes, your proportional share of that block reward should increase. And thus it's all kind of in equilibrium. So basically, the network will self-correct. At least that's how it should work. And spot price, because everything just sort of self-corrects. And so it'll adjust downwards. Difficulty will go lower and lower and lower until all of a sudden, you can mine it at $1,200 or $2,000 or $3,000. That process takes time though, because of what these guys were saying about capital reserves and how long you can really stand the punishment of mining at a loss. Mm-hmm. But eventually that's what would happen.
Pretty brilliant system. Yeah. So let's take some questions now. I know we got a whole bunch of questions. Let's see. I got a whole bunch on Telegram, so I'll ask those first, and then if anybody else wants to ask questions in the chat, you can ask them there. Let's see. So what's your guys' favorite part about mining while I'm looking for these?
You can sit at home and mine.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of making YouTube videos.
I don't have to, go to the facility and don't have to do that. I can do other work at the same time because this machine running in the background. It's making me money.
Mm-hmm. So, question here is, what do you guys see the future hold for mining with the price of Bitcoin? So, do you guys? Everybody wants to know future predictions. I'm not holding you to anything here, but like, what do you see with the future of mining and Bitcoin price and potential the halvening coming up in a year or two? What do you guys see with that happening?
Bitcoin has to be 2 to 2.5 times its worth right now after the halving. So I strongly believe that for mining to be profitable at that time, unless everybody shuts off their machines, like JP explained, Bitcoin's going to have to be 10, 12,000 at minimum. I really think it's going to be 15 plus, because only then is going to be profitable for miners to stay online. Miners aren't going to disappear because, really everybody knows Bitcoin's not going to disappear. So, my suggestion for me, at least personally, I'm all in on Bitcoin, waiting for that halving.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree. I think the halving in June of 2020 is going to have a strong correlation with an increase in price. It basically just has to. If you look at what's happened in the past, as we have from 50 to 25 and from 25 to where we're at right now. The problem right now with mining and just, I guess, crypto in general is that we've got rising difficulty that doesn't seem to slow down, but we've got stagnation with price. And those two things can't continue. So at some point, we're going to see difficulty sort of level off, or we're going to have to see price come back up, because even though the price is stagnant, the marginal cost of mining right now is actually the cost of production is actually creeping up higher and higher, because you need more hash rate and thus more machines in order to mine the same amount of Bitcoin. So,
why is the difficulty
continue like as is?
Why is the difficulty increasing? Is that because more and more people are starting mining?
Yeah, more and more machines are coming on the network almost every day. We saw articles last year of these guys going to build 100 megawatt facilities, and those facilities are starting to come online, and they're gobbled up all the cheap electricity up in Canada and upstate New York and Washington and stuff like that. So we're starting to see that availability of space come online right now, I think, and then you're starting to see a movement out of Asia into the United States and Canada as well. So where there's more space and more power to be had for machinery. So you see a big movement of machinery from there as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Someone wants to know what coins you guys mine. Sean, I know you said Ravencoin. You guys mentioned Bitcoin. Any others?
Yeah, I mine Ravencoin, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Zcash. I have some Z9s running.
Nice.
We sold all our GPUs 2 weeks ago, Bitcoin only.
All right. What about those behind you? They're just for show?
This is just one in my office that I'll behind for show.
Yeah. Nice.
We used to mine, JP and I used to mine a lot of Sia coin, whatever you want to call it. And our very expensive machines are now paperweights right now. So
yeah, none of us are too happy with the Sidecoin fork that's happening later this month. But yeah, Sidecoin, I've mined a bunch of Bitcoin Cash, less so, mostly Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a little bit of Litecoin.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on with that Sidecoin fork? Why is that not work out for you guys?
Well, the developers of Sidecoin, the organization, they wanted to make their own ASIC to make some money, and their development took so long, and they were never going to ROI on their machinery and their production and their cost of development of their machinery, that they bricked everyone else's machines. So not allowing any mining on anyone else's machines other than their own. Wow. And so, I mean, people were paying $10,000 in ASIC for, a Sidecoin machine at one point, and then now they're worthless at this point.
Yikes! Yeah. So there's no. You would think with like all the technology geniuses, I always think this stuff, that someone would figure out a patch for that or like a way to get around it. You would think. AP asks, what's your take on Bitcoin Cash? I'm guessing versus Bitcoin. You guys have an opinion?
I don't want to get shot out on the street.
I talk trash about Bcash all the time, so
Oh, shots fired! Calling it Bcash already.
Yeah.
I don't hold any Bitcoin Cash, so I guess there's my answer.
All right, good answer.
Yeah, it's a definite no for me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So another question is like, how does someone get started in GPU mining?
I think the easiest way to get started is just to, if you've got a decent GPU card inside, maybe like a gaming machine or something like that, you can download Claymore or whatever other mining software works for you. Nicehash was a super popular one. I don't know how they're doing since they got hacked earlier this year, but just download some software and just start mining and start playing around with profitability calculations and try to find an edge. That's kind of where GPU mining has evolved right now. People are trying to find edges and they're mining stuff before it even gets listed on exchanges. Oleg and Sean are probably more experts on the GPU mining side than I am at this point. But yeah, that would be my advice.
What JP said is 100% correct. I mean, once you either build a small little GPU rig, you could spend less than $1,500 building a decent rig. Something like this, you could probably build 6-card 1080, about $3,000 nowadays, which is much cheaper than it used to be. Download nicehash. That's the easiest one to run. Once you let that run in the background for 2-3 days, figure out if your 6 cards are going to run stable, which is a big problem for a lot of people. Once you stabilize your cards on your motherboard, figure all that out, you can start downloading Claymore, go to Bitcoin Talk, there's a bunch of other websites, and just troll like crazy until you find that secret blockchain that just came out yesterday and mine the hell out of it. I mean, put in 6 months of really hard effort, you could probably walk away with good profit, honestly.
Nice. So that kind of follows up. That maybe answered a question. Somebody said, is it profitable to mine for the average Joe?
Only if you do what I just said, pretty much. You put the time and effort into it. If you're just going to want to plug and play, download nicehash, honestly, no. Not unless you're industrial mining. But if you're going to put the time and effort into, studying projects, then yes, you could. There's people that are making really good profit still. And honestly, industrial miners can't do that. The thing that I explained with AI, I can't go and mine these small blockchains. It doesn't work for me. But for the guy with 1 or 2 rigs, he can make a ton of money doing that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What are you guys' opinions on the cloud mining?
It's a waste of money.
These are questions. I got to answer these questions.
Don't. Just don't do that.
Yeah, save your money and buy coins at that point. It's not even worth it.
I thought it'd be dead by 2018. I'm so shocked that it's still around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
kind of catch on.
Cloud mining is a ripoff, guys. Do not buy into cloud mining. Save your money. A lot of the cloud mining opportunities out there were scams, number one, and the ones that are legit, they're doing it for a reason. They're making more money off of you than they would be mining themselves. So just and a lot of that stuff out there too is it's all vaporware. So like, I'm not going to name any names, especially not on a recorded YouTube stream, but there's companies out there that cloud mine and basically they produce these nice dashboards and they make it seem like you've got all this hash rate and it's pointed to your wallet, but in reality, it's just vaporware and they're just using an algorithm to give you a certain amount of BTC or whatever it is that you're mining per day. And a lot of them have gotten in trouble because a lot of them don't even have the hardware behind it to be able to support all of the hash that they're selling. So I would steer well clear of cloud mining.
Cool. Let's see. So, okay, great question by Johnny Bull. He says, can you guys talk about what life might be like when the last Bitcoin is about to be mined? And then
we'll all be dead.
Yeah,
it's going to be mined in like
I don't know. I eat pretty clean, so I might still be. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
I mean, at that point, it's supposed to, the transactions are supposed to take over the overall price, that you're going to get paid out in transactions. And the acceptance of Bitcoin at that point will exceed, like I said, to the point where the transactions are paying you out. But I have put no thought really into it because, like I said, we're all going to be dead by that point. So I don't know. I will probably continue to not put any thought to it.
Good answer. Do you guys think that being rewarded in the transaction fees would be incentive enough for miners to continue to mine? Sean, you don't have to think about it. I know you.
I mean, if you keep taking the value of Bitcoin and every time it halves and then the relative value that it goes up and everything like that. At that point, 1/2000th of a Bitcoin is going to be worth a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get paid in that perspective amount of, I think you'll see obviously a drop off in mining at that point, but there'll still be a significant amount of hashing power just for the fees.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. Yeah, luckily, I don't think any of us have to worry about, because I mean, if Bitcoin halves every 4 years, and so again, by the time that we get to the point where the last Bitcoin is mined, we're projected out into like past 2100. So we're not gonna have to worry about that for a long time. But yeah, the idea is that it's self-sustaining. So those transaction fees is what's gonna have to sustain the system in a proof of work format. So.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. GH asks, what percentage of the coins do you hold and how much do you sell to cover your costs?
Well, honestly, if you have the opportunity to, in a low market like right now, you want to hold as much as possible. Your goal right now is to, as much as this is mining, there's a little trading aspect here too. Your goal is to stockpile as much BTC and sell when it's high. That's really the end goal here, right? So it all comes down to how much can you afford to hold. If you could afford to hold it all and pay cash for operating expenses, that's the smart play right now. When BTC was 20,000, that's when you sell it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I run a hybrid facility, so I host some and I mine some for myself. And so the hosting fees cover all my electricity costs and everything like that. So then I'm allowed to hold every coin I mine. And then waiting, like Oleg said, to the point where then it pops off again and I can sell and make a nice, pretty profit. So, but yeah, the hybrid facility model is working well, but hosting is becoming a harder and harder business at the current rate we're going.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to sell today and cover operating expenses, you're never going to see a profit. And you're never going to have the money to reinvest into new machines. You're going to be dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I would look to be at about 0.5x the network hash rate. So I think if we were trading at 25,000 right now, I'd be selling, and anything under that, I'd be holding. So we're clearly under that. So I'm holding it, but I'm in the same boat as Sean. We have a hybrid facility, I guess, if you want to call it that. We mostly do hosting and co-location. So everything that we mine, we just hold on to it. We don't sell it.
Gotcha. And when you guys sell, do you sell on markets or do you do OTC selling? Like when
OTC is almost a dirty word.
Is
in the
it?
mining
Yes.
community.
I love cursing on my channel, so I'll say OTC more. Yeah.
So we kind of like, people are like, oh, I'll buy your coins off you, and we smile and laugh at them and say, oh, okay, whatever, and then just throw their card in the trash.
Yeah.
At that point.
Well, I mean, if you're a business, it's hard to sell through Coinbase unless you have it, or Gemini or anything, unless you have an institutional account. If you have an institutional account, yeah, I mean, nobody's really selling. I don't know any miner right now that's going to go out and sell, 1,000 Bitcoin. It's just not a smart play. You're going to sell your minimum amount to cover your operating expenses, which is enough that you won't kill the market if you go sell it on Coinbase if you have that institutional account. If you don't, then you're going to have to go to a third party that is licensed to do the trade for you.
Gotcha. Cool.
We have an institutional account with an exchange, so I would just sell through an exchange.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Let's see.
JP's got that California money. He can afford that institutional account lawyer fee.
The due diligence on it was ridiculous, but we finally got approved.
The amount of paperwork you got to go through is insane.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. There was a lot of back and forth. A lot of the exchanges don't want the risk. I mean, they really want to stick their nose in everything and do a lot of due diligence around the company, the officers, everything. They ask for our utility bills. They ask for so much.
Mm-hmm.
But
cool.
It's doable, though. Totally doable.
Yeah. So another question. This is kind of the speculative type of thing, but quantum computing. Do you guys ever think, like, if quantum computing becomes some type of daily occurrence, how that'll impact mining or Bitcoin in general?
Just from my experience at IBM and how expensive it is to run a quantum computer, it's not anywhere close to have to worry about the current state.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if it starts working and it can do that, I mean, it's all about hash rate, though. I mean, how much hash rate can it throw out at one time? And there's a lot of S9s running in the world, so I don't think it's too worrisome at the current state.
I think there's much better applications for quantum computers. I mean, obviously, quantum computing lends itself well to breaking encryption, which seems to lend itself well to crypto mining. But at the end of the day, think about the kinds of players out there who are going to invest the money to develop usable quantum computers. Are they really going to be using them for Bitcoin mining? Or is it going to be like the NSA who wants to listen in on every conversation, every encrypted conversation? It's probably going to be the latter and not the former.
Like they're not doing that already. Come on. Yeah.
They'll take it to the next level on us,
Yep, totally. Someone at Sun King asks, "Is mining profits tax free?"
I wish.
Is there anything tax free in the world that's
Nope.
you make money?
Property.
Yeah.
You're paying taxes just like you're paying taxes on any property that you're creating. And then the second stage is when you sell the Bitcoin, you're paying taxes on the profit or loss that you made, in short.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
IRS came out with something specifically stating that in 2014, I believe. So it's been a while.
Gotcha. Another question. Do you guys agree with McAfee's price of Bitcoin at the end of 2020? He said $1 million or he'll eat his own dick. No?
I don't know. John
I would be
McAfee, he's an interesting character.
I'd be happy, but I believe it's unrealistic.
I would agree with that. I hope it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think everybody hope it happens. That would be awesome. Or if not, we're in for a show. Definitely.
Yeah, I think he said he would do something, right?
He would eat his own dick. Yeah.
He would eat his own dick.
On live television or something like that.
He's running for president in 2020, so he might have a platform to do it, guys.
Yeah. that would be a great platform. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the questions here. So what stuff haven't we discussed that people should know about mining? Don't all chime in.
I guess we haven't discussed ASICs. As far as big question that we always get is 60 nanometer, what's coming out down the line. So a lot of 7 nanometer technology is coming out right now that you'll probably start seeing being utilized in Q1 of 2019. So that's kind of going to change the game. S9s most likely will become obsolete very soon. So don't buy any right now, probably. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, though.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, the market is shifting a little bit. Like you said, the new machinery is coming out. It's going industrial. So, just the large scale Bitcoin miners are definitely not a hobbyist kind of thing anymore. If you want to run a machine or two, do it. It helps contribute to the hash rate. It's awesome. That's the security of Bitcoin is all the people who are mining. So that's part of the, what makes it appealing for people.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely find it very impressive that it's been around almost 10 years now and it's not really been hacked and, it's a very secure system. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish we could get back to a place where mining was super decentralized like it was, when I first started. It was really just fun, not to say it's not fun now. It's just, when you do it from a business perspective, there's other considerations. There's shareholders and investors and CPAs and taxes and stuff like that. But I think there will always be room for hobbyists in mining and just in the crypto market in general. So for people that, don't know anything about mining, I would encourage everybody to go out and just, if you've got a GPU, start mining GPU mineable coins. If, your thing is really Bitcoin, buy an ASIC, find a place to run it, host it at a facility, whatever it is, just learn about it. At the end of the day, even if you don't end up gravitating towards mining and you're like, hey, this isn't for me. I think what's fascinating is, as we've gone to conferences and, we've talked to a lot of people that are in the crypto community, it's amazing to me that a lot of people don't actually understand how mining works and how it fundamentally kind of powers the blockchain and the role that we have as miners and securing the network and validating transactions. And I think it's one of those niches in the blockchain community that everybody could benefit from at least understanding more about it, even if they choose, not to participate in it. But I think mining is awesome. So I would encourage anybody to go out and get involved somehow. By the way, maybe this is a good place to plug our association.
Definitely.
So we're all on the board of the Blockchain and Crypto Mining Association, BCMA. Would love anybody that is already a miner or wants to get into mining to go to our website. It's ourbcma.org, spelled ourbcma.org. We've also got a really awesome Telegram community. So if anybody wants to join that, the link is on the website. It's open to everybody. We're the largest nonprofit mining and blockchain association in the world, we believe. And we just do it for the love of the community and to be kind of a single point of contact for governments, local, state, and federal, as they want to reach out and discuss new legislation and regulation with the mining community. And we do a lot of good stuff. We host meetups and we have board meetings every quarter. So love to get people involved. And if you want to learn more about mining, hit us up. And if you're a miner, definitely join. We've got memberships and sponsorships that we offer and things like that.
Cool. I will add those links to the description when we're done this video, so that way people can find them and click through to them.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, all three of us sit on the education committee within our association too. So we're all in charge of getting, promote or educational help out. So if you guys have any questions, you always reach out. We can kind of answer some questions for you. Oleg has a lot more time than JP and I do, so just definitely direct message to him.
Yeah, right on. Cool. Looks like the internet froze for a second. You guys there? All right.
There, he's back.
Yeah, all right. Cool.
He's still live?
Yeah, we're still live. It's always good to have stuff like that happen on live streams.
You missed my ramble, so that's good.
Yeah. No, we got it. I got most of it where you're talking about how you do with outreach. People can reach out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we work really hard to help everyone that has any questions. I mean, we have a lot of sponsors. There's a wide range of sponsorships. Is it machinery? Is it hosting? Is it getting overall? What else do we have, guys? Oh, help me out.
A lot. So I mean, we try to contribute educational awareness as much as possible to federal, state, and if we are allowed to local, scenarios where I think we were at legislative state legislators convention this year. We're the only blockchain company there. I think every other House of Rep or Senator was there, and we're the only blockchain related company that was promoting awareness. So really, we're just trying to educate everybody that we possibly can as not only about mining, but blockchain. I think we're kind of focused on trying to stay away from ICO stuff and make sure that, anybody that's signing off on a bill isn't going to categorize a miner in the same category as they're going to categorize some ICO, basically. We just want to educate them as much as possible. And, maybe educate some utility companies as well while we're at it.
Yeah, get the prices lower. Cool. Well, that stuff sounds good. Like I said, I'll put the links to that down in the description. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me for the live stream. That was awesome. I think we all learned a lot. I think People are excited, hopefully, for the future of cryptocurrencies. Hopefully got some new mining converts. Yeah.
Thanks for having us. And it was
Yeah.
great meeting you down in Miami. We'll see you down there in December.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's another conference down there. Yeah, we'll party it up again.
That and our next board meetings in Miami. So you're definitely invited to come hang out with us and see what we're up to.
Sweet. Sounds awesome. You guys hang on for a second, then I'm going to end the live stream. But to everyone out there, peace, peace, peace. I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.